Yeah.
TH4.
No, there's no need. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. You will have your time to sing in a second, okay? Whew, it's close one, y'all. Just saved your life. Welcome back to the amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we show our best life through the lens of sus faces. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and as usual, I have my singing, beautiful, curl-rific, smiling, health enthusiast, nerd queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka
The
Health Nerd. Here joining you on a Sunday. It is Sunday, right?
It is.
A Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
It's hot, I think, per usual. I have not been outside. So from this here window, I'd say, based on the temperature radiating off of the window, I'd say it's about 84 degrees.
84. Go ahead and check that. It was cold-ish this morning, and while I get into how cold it was this morning, this episode is sponsored.
Ooh, 83 degrees. I'm nasty with it.
Okay. I see you, oh human body temperature person. Yeah. Well, we are watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That may be your gift. that may be your gift.
I'll take it.
But this episode is sponsored by Ona Power for beating me up today at the basketball court. I hope you watch this, sir.
It's not okay.
Oh, I'm very hurt. 2 days of basketball in a row. And yeah, I guarded Ona, who's basically a professional athlete running around. Speeding Gonzalez. Very, very, just young, strong, running around for 3 games in a row. And first 2 games, he had 0 points. I just want to point that out, Ona. First 2 games. Thank you. You had 0 points. We still lost, but my man had 0 points. The last game, he had about 6, maybe 8.
Yeah, clearly you were tired.
I was gone. And I wanted to stop. They're like, let's play one more back to back. I was like, give me 5 minutes to breathe. They're like, no, let's go. And then Ona looked at me. He was like, yeah, sir, I'm about to work you out this game. I was like, golly, this is not going to be good.
Look, at any point, you just give me of course, I'm saying this live now. You just let me know, hey, Queen, call me at 9:45.
You think I'm near my phone? Like, I'm not going to hear that. But I got you next time. But today we are talking about self-management and self-discipline. There are definitely some overlaps in it. Maybe I need to manage how much I play basketball a little bit more.
Yes, I'm gonna give you an allowance from now on.
An allowance. Oh, y'all see how I get in trouble that quick. But we're gonna talk about self-management versus self-discipline, how you can practice those things, and maybe what are some traps or some resources that you can do. And the Queen's gonna be holding us down because I'm holding on by something. I don't know if a thread is the right word to call it. I'm holding on by some material.
Hair.
A hair, possibly, but I got strong hair. We got that strong. You know what I'm talking about. All right, wait, get focused. Queen, are you ready?
Are you ready for some podcast?
All right, we're out. Again, I apologize for the vocals, but hey, if you dig in the vocals, let us know. And yes, we are drinking that Harmless Harvest. One day they'll sponsor us. If y'all got a plug, definitely let us know because we give them a lot of money every week.
Look, we were sitting on the couch the other day and I looked down and saw like 4 bottles of Harmless Harvest. And I was like, in a normal household, this would probably be like beer cans or soda cans, Gatorade, whatever it
Coconut
is.
water.
We got coconut water everywhere.
By the keg. But today, again, self-management, self-discipline. Before we get into the definition by the Queen, I want to say shout out to us for having the self-discipline and the team discipline to make it to episode 80.
80.
You know what I'm saying? We in here, 80 in the building. Shout out to the whole TH4 squad. Many more to come, and we definitely need to do something special for that centennial, something special for that 100th episode. We got to do something. We might be in Africa when it happens. I think let's plot that out. If we can be in Ghana and do the 100th, I think that'd be fire.
Will we? 20
well, let's
weeks
plot it.
from
I'm
now?
not gonna do math right now, Sinclair. Don't hurt him.
I feel
But
like
Queen, Self-management.
Like around our birthdays, which might be cool.
Queen, self-management. Gotta get you focused. Please go over the definition, and Jair, if you can pull it up for us, we appreciate you.
Yes. So self-management. Self-management, we have the management. Don't you hate when they use the word in the
definition? Like, be creative.
The management of or by oneself, the taking of responsibility for one's own behavior and well-being. All right. So I'm gonna repeat that one more time.
One more again.
We'll just run it back. Management, self-management. The management of or by oneself, the taking of responsibility for one's own behavior and well-being.
Yep.
For me, I think what stands out there is the taking of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when you first asked me,
here we go.
What is the difference between self-discipline and self-management? And I was like, they're different. Like, I know they're different. I had a hard time voicing how they were different. Then it hit me this morning. Because I'm like, okay, I'm a manager, but why is my title not discipliner? Right? There's a reason why they're different. Yes, discipline is a part of management, but it's only a part, right? There are other things. So that's what kind of made me jog my memory. I'm like, what outside of holding people accountable, at work, what other things are involved in managing someone else? Because it's going to be the same for yourself. So, I mean, I think it's like, you got goal setting, you got motivation, you got all of these things to help someone grow aside from just discipline.
So for me, responsibility for one's behavior and well-being. I think you can manage your own well-being. I think you can be responsible for your own well-being, but not necessarily do everything that you're supposed to be doing. Because mismanagement is a thing.
Yeah.
Misdiscipline, that doesn't exist. Either you have discipline or you don't have discipline, right?
Yeah.
But like, how many of y'all show up to a McDonald's, show up to a Nike, things aren't going well, and you're like, who's the manager here? What's going on? Because they may be doing something, but they're not doing their job well. So I feel like management is knowing what you should be doing. I should be waking up at 6 a.m. I should not be eating gluten and honey. I should give my wife a kiss every day, right? I know what I should be doing. There you go, Queen. I know what I should be doing. I know like the list, and I'll take responsibility for it. I may not blame other people, but I think for me, the difference between managing and discipline is knowing what you're supposed to be doing and actually doing what's on that list.
And I think, and I mentioned earlier, the key part there is taking responsibility. Because I feel like, right, if you're talking about a manager, that's what they do. That's that's why they have that title, is they take responsibility for whatever they're managing. So I feel like what that looks like for yourself is kind of like what you said. I'm not blaming anybody else for my shortcomings or for the way that my life is right now. I take full responsibility for that. And I feel like when you start to do that, then you can start your true like self-management, I think, journey. But I think unless you are to the point where you can take responsibility and own, what you do and the outcomes of what you do, then I think you're mismanaging rather than self-managing.
Gotcha. So are you ready to pull up the definition of disciplines? We can have a direct.
Yes.
Okay, let's pull up the definition of discipline, please. And Queen, go ahead and hit it.
All right. So self-discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. The ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite of temptations to abandon it.
Ooh.
Right.
So a few words that I love in there.
Can I read it one more time?
Please, hey, hit them one more time.
One more time.
Down.
The ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. The ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite temptations to abandon it.
Intriguing. So words that stand out to me: one, ability to control one's feelings.
Yeah,
that hit right there. Discipline. All right, if you just stop right there, the ability to control your feelings. How many times do other people make you do something just off of you reacting to them. We kind of talked about that today at the basketball court too, how like you can start talking trash to somebody and all of a sudden they start making small mistakes that they wouldn't usually make because emotionally they're reacting differently. Right. So for you, whether it's in your job, whether it's your kids, your partner, how are you making sure that you are not losing control of your feelings? And then there was another one I liked in here. Ooh, yeah. Overcoming one's weaknesses. And what I like about those combination of words, shout out to whoever made this definition. Maybe it was Webster. I don't know. Shout out to you, Webster. Who's Webster?
Merriam-Webster. I think that's what
that's the person's name.
I think.
Okay, they know a lot of words. So they know a lot of words. So
like, how do they come? Sorry, tangent. How do they come up with definitions?
I don't got the energy, Queen. I'm not gonna lie. You can blame Ona Power for today's podcast. So, but overcoming one's weaknesses means that it's different for every single person, which I love about that.
Yeah.
Right. If my weakness is food, right? Lamb chops, which were fire last night. My weakness is that, yeah, well done, Queen. Well done, Queen. That's gonna be different from the Queen's weakness, will maybe sweets, right? Which would be different from my little brother's weakness, which may be doing 1,000 push-ups every day. I don't know. Demetrius be doing his thing. But I love how discipline literally looks different based on what your particular weak spot, what your kryptonite is.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, I think it's to your point. Like it's one for me, like you said, it may be not eating sweets, but for you, that's going to be a piece of cake that doesn't take any discipline for you because that's not your weakness. So I think that that's interesting. The part that stood out to me, as you can tell by the one I made the graphic, the red words, is despite temptations to abandon it, because I think that that's even the reason for discipline, why you need discipline in the first place. Is because we all have those temptations to abandon what we know what we're supposed to do. Facts. For whatever reason it be, whether it's external, internal, we have those temptations to abandon whatever it is. So I think that that's a really key piece, is that discipline is there because we all have those temptations. So you need to, make sure that when you're trying to stay disciplined, there is a reason for that, and make sure that you don't let yourself heed to those temptations, because then you're not being disciplined. Like that's pretty much the definition. Right. I know that's the hard part, but and we'll talk about ways that tools you can use and things like that to stay disciplined. It doesn't always have to be you just telling yourself do this and you do it. Like utilize other people in your life and things like that. We'll get into that later, but that's what stuck out to me.
And that last part, great point. That last part also connected to episode, what was that? Self-sabotage. What episode was that? 75, 76? One of those episodes. Great episode. Go back, watch the self-sabotage episode, because in that we talk about the book The War of Art, and how literally the more important something is to you, the more distractions and the more you will procrastinate. And with that last line, which was despite temptations to abandon it, sometimes those temptations aren't quote unquote negative temptations, right? It could be like, oh, I'm working on this board game idea right now, and then another idea comes that tempts me to spend my time and my consciousness on that idea. Or someone invites me to, hey, come do this nonprofit event, come go to this concert, come do this other thing that may not intrinsically be negative, and I might not see it as a negative temptation, but it's still tempting me away. Right. It's drawing me away from what the real goal is. So yes, self-management, self-discipline, both two things to definitely be conscious about, be aware of as you're going into your journey, as you're going and accomplishing your dreams. And yeah, let's maybe start getting into some tangibles, some resources.
Okay, sounds good. So how does self-discipline and self-management, how do they work together in your life? What are some aspects that they work together in your life? So I have some examples.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Do you have someone you'd like to start off with?
I'm just gonna say it because it was in my consciousness, because I thought you were asking me a question. You were looking at me like, how do you? And I was like, oh, I do. And then you were like, I'm gonna go. I'm like, oh, she pump fake me, y'all. Oh, okay. She hit me with the Woo! All right. If you liking her pump fake me, go ahead and click like, subscribe. We appreciate you. But first, I feel like the management comes first. You have to know kind of what's on my list, what's on my plate to do. The discipline, I think, comes second. Once you know what you have to do, stick to what you know you have to do.
Right.
And I feel like for me, this is what I'm trying to get a little better in, because I do have shiny thing syndrome, whatever that's called, where it's like, oh, we can do this idea. Oh, how about this? Oh, we can do the podcast in augmented reality. Oh, we could do, and it's just like, Devon, do these things, do them well, and do them the way that you said you're going to do them before you add more things on. So I feel like management, boom, write down your list of things that are truly important to you, things that you truly want to prioritize. And then secondary is figure out, I think we'll get into this later, figure out what needs to happen, what tools you need to have the discipline to achieve those things on your list. Yeah, yes. You like that little clap?
I did. Yes, I agree. I think some other ways that they work, like to your point, you can't be disciplined unless you first know what you even need to be disciplined
Facts.
for, right? Facts. Otherwise, what are you disciplined for?
Right, because you can say I'm disciplined and I watch TV every single day. I mean, you're doing what you said you're going to do, I guess. Right. But I feel like, yeah, you need to have that destination of things that are on your list to truly have that discipline.
And also, you could be like, oh, I'm gonna do 100 push-ups every day. But if looking good and if being strong is not important to you, is that really going to be fulfilling to you at all, to actually be disciplined in that area? You need to find something that is going to be meaningful for you and actually get you towar's the goal of whatever you want.
Not easy.
Right. And maybe, and sure, it's cool to start off maybe that way to build your confidence to get things done. But eventually you need to go ahead and really think about, what is your goal?
Yeah.
What are things to get you to that goal, and how are you going to stay disciplined? So some other ways that I think that these two things work together in your life. I think when we're talking about like goal setting, that's, I think, to me, self-management, because that's, again, how do you determine what you need to be disciplined at? You set that goal. This is what I want to do, and this is how, and then afterwards you can figure out, this is how I'm going to stay disciplined. Motivation. I think that's self-management as well. That's a part of self-management, because how are you going to get the energy? You know, it's that, I feel like it's the driving force. It's the why I'm doing what I'm doing. That energy there.
Yeah, I might put that in discipline.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the management, and you talked to me about this. I don't know if management is always the how. I feel like management is the what. These are the things that need to get done. And then I feel like the discipline is the how a little bit more. I feel like I would put motivation in the how, but you're a manager. So talk to me about it, because like you don't do the things that you put on the list per se. Do
right.
You?
No.
Right. Someone else is getting that done. So yeah, talk to me about your perspective on that.
So literally what I thought of when I was creating this list is, like, what do I do as a manager? Okay. And part of what I do is to keep my team motivated.
Okay.
Right. So whether that's with food, whether that's with, usually it's with food, 90% of the time, right. Whether it's with food, whether it's with swag, whether it's with recognition, right? But it's my job to make sure that people feel appreciated, so that they're motivated to keep going. So that's where that came from. To me, that's different than how I discipline my team.
Perhaps, but now we're getting into a gray area, because you manage and you discipline. So when you motivate, how you know which role you're playing? Search for it. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone misses 2 days of work, or like because they don't call out, if they're late 2 days, which is them not being disciplined, they come to you. So I'm saying you discipline and you manage. So how do you know when you're motivating people which hat you're wearing?
So I guess, so when you're talking about discipline, can this also be, are we also talking about, like, if we're talking about positive reinforcement for doing something good, then I guess it could fall under discipline as well, right? When you don't do what you do, then you have to be disciplined in whatever way. And then when you do what you do, then what you're supposed to do, then you get this recognition, or you get this food. So I guess technically it could fall into that category as well. Yeah, they intertwine.
I don't think it makes a huge difference. I just like watching you think.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Watching the wheels turn.
Yeah, you were like, Let me search for that answer. It's somewhere here. Let me get it.
Going through the files. Yeah. Some other things that I put on, and I didn't necessarily throughout this list specify whether there was self-management or self-discipline. Okay. I just put them all on here because they're all intertwined. But self-affirmation, You can tell me which one.
So I think going back to the definitions, right? The ability to control one's feelings. So everything on here that has to do with feelings and emotions, I would say is in discipline. So motivation, affirmations, self-care, I would put in management, but definitely self-affirmation and motivation, I would put into the discipline because that's dealing with your feelings and emotions.
Gotcha. I agree with that. Setting routines. I think that's management.
Management, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Same thing with self-care.
Yeah. And then accountability. I would say that's discipline.
Yes. I would agree with that. Nice doing business with you, man.
we just handshaked for those of y'all just listen. Hand shook.
So going through one more time, things that y'all should focus on when you're thinking about your self-management and your self-discipline. 1, goal setting. Where are you trying to go? What is the end result that you truly desire? Number 2,
motivation. How are you making sure that you have the energy and the oomph?
The oomph. There we go. When you can't think of a word, just say oomph.
To do what needs to be done.
Yes, ma'am. Number 3 is self-affirmations. How are you making sure, kind of with motivation, that you feel confident in what you're doing, that you know who you are and you are putting energy and pouring into your own cup?
Self-care. How are you making sure that you are caring for yourself and doing just showing yourself love so that, again, you realize you show love for yourself and then you can show love to others.
Love it. Setting your routine. What are things that you are doing, maybe not every day, but 5 out of 7 days a week? What's your routine? What time are you waking up? What's your dietary habits? What's your lifestyle? Or what's your workout routine? How often do you kiss your wife or your partner?
Often.
Hey, as often as I can, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But what are you doing every single day that's pushing you towards that long-term goal?
And then lastly, accountability. So once you've decided what you're going to do, what are you going to do to hold yourself accountable when you are not doing what you're supposed to do? I think that's an important part of discipline.
Love it. Before we go on to the what things can help you manage yourself and what things can help you discipline, I want to talk about the slight struggle of self-care. And not struggle, but maybe the irony of it when you're trying to be disciplined. And this is for me, right? I try to be disciplined to where I'm always doing something that's working towards the goal. But sometimes you can overwork yourself to where now, yes, you're working, right? You're doing things that are on your management list, but your energy levels are low and you're not taking the steps forward that you could be taking because you could be mentally tired, physically tired, emotionally tired. So I feel like for folks out there that we see, a whole bunch of people out there grinding, right? And we think, oh, I should be grinding too. We see people that wake up at 3 a.m., 6 a.m. They're staying up until 3 a.m., 6 a.m. Team no sleep. Sleep is for suckers, all that stuff. And yes, go grind it out, do your thing. But sometimes that can make us feel guilty. Like, dang, I want what they have, but am I willing to work that hard? X, Y, Z. I'm telling you right now, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Self-care. Everybody has their own pace. Just because you see how early they're up, you don't know how early they went to sleep. You don't know what they're putting into their body. You don't know how many naps they're taking during the day. Like you don't know their routine. So really make sure you're taking care of yourself, and it's okay to take days off, mornings off, weekends off, whatever you gotta do. All right, I message with somebody out there, probably for me next week when I rewatch it.
There you go. I feel like I was starting to get into that too, of needing to remind myself, okay, yes, it is okay. And for me, it's the guilt. I feel like I feel that guilt even when I am chilling. Like, I'm supposed to be doing this.
There's something.
And that's the thing. There's always something. So you can't let that guilt ruin the time that you have set aside to care for yourself. Because again, there's always something to do. So even if you think, oh, let me just get this done, then there's going to be another thing that pops up and another thing. Like it'll be an endless, especially if you have as many goals as we do, it will never stop. So you have to just take that time, block everything out, care for yourself, and not feel guilty about it. And that takes practice.
Yeah, we're getting better at it.
Yep.
Queen.
Yes.
What are things that can help folks manage themselves? What are some tools?
Yeah. So utilizing their calendar.
Listen, start easy.
Look.
Start real easy.
Calendarizing? Is that it?
Well, sure. Merriam-Webster, calendarizing. Is that...
Can I put in my request to add that? But just scheduling all of the things that you have to do. This is something I struggle with very much so. In terms of like,
it's just interesting because you're a C.
I know.
I feel like you would be good at this.
I know. I don't know. Here's the thing. I'll tell you why.
It's never a good start. Here's the thing. Let me break it down.
What happened was, so for me, I'm really trying to think about how to voice this. Though other C's may, or there's someone out there is gonna vibe with me. Okay, so for me, it's like I go, when I go into the C mode, it almost gives me anxiety when it doesn't go according to plan.
Okay.
So if I create a calendar of this is what I'm supposed to do, and now I'm off, it's like, well, why did I create the calendar? It's everything's off. It's ruined. And I feel like that's the mindset I start to have. And the truth is, it's not right. I'm not saying that it's good or don't take this advice. Like, calendar, use the calendar. But I feel like for me, it's like if I go through the effort of planning my day out, I want it to go the way that I plan it out. But then sometimes it's like, okay, I set aside. I'm also very bad at projecting how much time a task will take.
This is factual.
So I'm like, oh, that'll take an hour. So I'll do an hour. And then the day has gone by. My calendar went to crap. And I only got half of what I want to get done.
And how many things in your head, in your perfect day, we might spend more time than needed on this, but in your perfect day, how many things are you putting on your calendar to get done?
Way too many things.
Yeah? I feel like that's the struggle.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, I want to talk about this at some point, but I think with discipline, less can be more.
Yeah.
Right.
Under promise, over deliver.
Right. So it's just, if you put two like powerful things that, you know, if I do this, whew, it's gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a powerful day. Just do those two things and get those two things done. If you have time to do more things, cool, get more. But I feel like sometimes even me, like you can check my life mastery planner, wherever it is. But some days, like I'll have like 5 things on there, and here we go. You know, so some days are real hefty, and you know, sometimes everything gets checked off. Go ahead, look at it. What we got there?
So we got like Tuesday on the 5th. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things on there, and they all got done.
Tuesday was a good day.
Thursday, you had 2 things, but only one of them got done.
What was the next one? Podcast topic that got done. I just didn't cross it off.
Gotcha. Is this technically one?
It
got no love way at the bottom.
It got no love. So I planned it out like on Monday. I wrote what's it called? I was supposed to write for 30 minutes, and then at the bottom write for 5 minutes at the two ends. I know those are the 2 things I want to do every single day is write. Gotcha. So I just went out and then I would cover it in. But long story short, I feel like sometimes we overcommit, we put too much stuff, and that stresses us out. But if you just say, okay, I'm going to do these 2 things, these 3 things, and you have extra time, get those done.
Yeah.
Second thing, this is in someone's book. I'm gonna give the credit to Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Work Week, but it might not be him. I'm gonna give him the credit anyway. But it was saying, like, put the blocks on your calendar, and if you don't finish that task, move on. Set the task for tomorrow, right? Don't finish it. And it's like, oh, I was supposed to write a blog, and I said it was gonna take 20 minutes, but it's taking me an hour. I feel like eventually you could be losing time and even losing conscious energy towards that task, or even if you finish, it's not going to be what it could have been if you were really zoomed in and focused on it. So it's like, start it, you don't finish it, stick to the discipline and say, cool, I'm moving on, I'm doing the next thing, and then just add it to your list the next day. Gotcha. So maybe try those 2 things with your amazing melanated brain.
Thanks, King.
No problem, Quinn.
Long story short, calendar.
I love the calendar. If you have business partners, or if you have a partner out there, like, share a unified calendar. I feel like that helps us out a lot when we have different podcasts, we have different interviews coming up. It's like, I'll put it on the calendar and I'll be like, Queen, check the calendar. What we got next week? I don't know, check the calendar. Because I put it there because with my high I energy, I will forget, 1, and I will overcommit us, 2. Right before we started calendaring, I was just like, oh yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there. And then I wake up and I'll be like, oh, I got 6 things to go.
By the way, we got to help so-and-so move in 2 hours. What?
Yeah, it's like, oh, it was bad. So please utilize that calendar, set reminders on there. Number two, kind of similar. Queen, you want to hit it?
Planner.
Yes.
Which I mean is kind of very similar to a calendar. What things would be in a planner that are not in a calendar?
So it's two things. One, a planner is physical. A calendar
So you
can be
mean a
digital.
physical?
Yeah, I mean a physical, for me, physical planner, writing it out. In my calendar, there's room for notes. I mean, my planner, there's room for notes. There's room for affirmations. At the beginning of my calendar, my planner, I set my priorities for the year. These are things I want to accomplish. I want to travel to Tulsa. I want to sell 1,000 Masterpiece Edition games. I want to get 500 subscribers on YouTube. Like and subscribe. So I put those kind of priorities at the beginning, and then I can always go back to the beginning of my planner to see what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong. What else is in the planner? The planner also has like day breakdowns. So you have the overall calendar, then you also have the week-to-week calendar, which I can also put priorities, to-do lists, notes, all of that stuff. So for me, we know the physical act of writing goals down helps. Right. We know that is based on research. There was a Harvard business study that MBA students who graduated and they wrote down their goal and they said their goal made X amount. I don't want to mispronounce or misquote the research, but they made a significant percentage more than people who didn't write down their goals or even set their goals. So we know writing helps. So get you a planner, write your goals, do your thing.
I feel like the weekly goals would be something too good to have that I could see myself using. I feel like the daily calendar is cool, but I feel like sometimes it's like, okay, this week I want to get this done, and it'll take a little bit each day to get this big task done.
Exactly. So, yeah. I'm working with Rajel to design a planner for us.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'll be using it.
I know.
All right. And then the last one. Do you want to hit it?
People.
Yeah.
Right. Use your resources to help you manage yourself as well. This can fall into discipline, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but you don't always know what you should be doing.
Right.
So
you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. So it's like, I have this goal of doing this. You may know people in your network that have already successfully done that. And they can tell you what you need to do is you need to wake up at this time and do this. What you really need to do is you need to read this book. And now you know that's on your to-do list. What you really do is you need to get a new light for your podcast, whatever it is. But talking to people, whether it's people on social media or people in real life, I like that phrase I'm hearing a lot often, in real life. Yeah, IRL. I don't say the acronym because it's a tongue twister. In real life. Yeah, talk to people and figure out what it is that you truly need to be doing to get to where your goal is.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes we think we like, oh, I don't need that help, but you truly do. Like, if you've never bought a house before and you want to buy a house, what do you do?
Right.
Like you don't really know. You need to ask somebody who has done that and can walk you through that process. But yeah, I think that's important to utilize folks, health coach. You may be like, oh, I want to get more energy. I want to lose weight. I want to do all of these things. But you may not know there's a lot of information out there, right? A lot of different diets, a lot of different fads, all of these things. You may not need to know. You may not know what is right for you so that you can get to your goal. So you might hire a health coach. Ding. Shameless plug. Go ahead and sign up for your free session.
TruvelForever.com. Sign up. It's free.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, you need those other people. If you're trying to launch a business, getting a business coach, he's mine. That may be helpful, right? It's important to find somebody who has done what you are trying to do, or who has knowledge in what you are trying to do to guide you on what you should be doing.
Yep. And no, you can't hire me because you can't afford me. All right. The queen plays a hefty price for these business coaching. All right. But before we go, go ahead, get that ready, queen.
Yeah.
But we are very grateful for our BU community, BU family, and we're going to bring in a lot of other people from the BU community to come here and talk to y'all about some anti-aging stuff on a cellular level, some beautiful self-confidence stuff. We got some music therapy people coming in here. We got a lot of really dope people that are in different industries. One, are helping us out, right? Pouring into our cup, giving us resources, giving us energy. But two, we're also hoping that they can pour into your cup. People out there looking to also get into these fields or need these resources. So definitely stay tuned in, stay tapped in, like and subscribe. If you're if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. show us some love.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
us 4 or 5 stars. You know, be honest in there. Unless it's under 3, then don't be honest and go ahead and lie and put 4 or 5. Queen, hit us with the resources for self-discipline.
Yes. So people, we mentioned that, and this was actually a great segue from what we were just talking about, right? Because the BU community, it's an accountability call, right? It is a 6 a.m. Yes, you heard that right. It is a 6 a.m. accountability call that we are both on every single day.
5 a.m. on Wednesdays.
That he is on Wednesdays. I'm not there yet. But Monday through Friday, 6 a.m., aside from Wednesday, we are on that call. So that is how we are leveraging, right, other people to hold us accountable. Yep. So the first, I don't want to give away what be happening on the calls, saying, but we have a community of people who are there to say, hey, what did you want to accomplish? Did you accomplish that? No? Okay. Well, what are you going to do to make that happen today then? Yep. And that you may think like, oh, I don't need that. That's silly. I promise you it makes a difference because, and I've been thinking about this lately, like what is it about this that is so impactful, right? And why accountability partners, accountability groups are so helpful. And I think it because it taps into our natural desire to be accepted in a group. I think that's why it naturally we care what other people think. Right. We've talked about this on other podcasts, but it goes back to the need for survival that we had. That's an instinctual thing, right? That's something that was literally ingrained into our DNA as human beings. And that's because way back when, when we had and in civilizations today where they still go out and hunt their food. But this was more accurate, in as a species, yes. As a species, BC, when we had to really go out and hunt for our food and survive as a tribe. If you were not in a part of a tribe or part of a group, you were not surviving because there are other creatures, other beasts out there that are literally looking at you like you are a little skewer. Just waiting to be devoured. So you had to be a part of a group for shelter, right? To build your shelter, to gather food, and for safety. They had to be a part of a group. So naturally, you wanted to make sure that you were accepted by that group. Right. So that is where that instinctual nature comes from, of wanting to be accepted by another person. Today, it looks more like social media and likes and things like that. Facts. But I think that utilizing that and leveraging that in an accountability partner or an accountability group is really smart because, again, it's the I don't want to have to go to that person and say I didn't do what I told myself I was going to do, right, and what I told them I was going to do. So if you, like me, I think I thought I didn't need one before, like I could do it myself. But right. But I think everybody starts out that way. But then you realize that you can easily talk yourself out and reason your way out of doing something that you said you were going to do. Yep. Whereas another person, it may not make as much sense to them because it's not their own brain. Right. So what happened was I went to the grocery store and then I got in a fender bender and then that's why I didn't write my essay. What? Like, what? You still had suffer out. Like, it is not going to make sense to another person, which is why I think it's good to get that other person's feedback. Yeah.
Would you consider that, and then we'll go back to the list, would you consider that biohacking? Right? Because like if your natural psychology, your natural tendency is to want to be, accepted into a tribe, would you call it biohacking to find a tribe that is going to keep you accountable to the positive things? Because it's easily you can fall into the wrong tribe and it's like the same behavior that was accepted here is not accepted here. Right. And now you're going in a different pathway. So would you consider that biohacking?
Yes, I think it could be. Absolutely. Okay. So I think it's all about utilizing the environment around you for that leg up. And that's exactly what it is. If you make your environment other people who are trying to do similar things and who are going to hold you accountable, that's basically biohacking.
Okay. I'm thinking that could be a shiny syndrome right here, shiny thing syndrome. But yeah, finding different psychological biohacks to get you to increase your discipline could be an interesting thing. Yep. Yeah. All right. Keep us going.
Inspiration. I think you made this list. What were you thinking?
So we talked about how discipline is about controlling your feelings, right? So how can you make sure that you can get inspired when you need to be inspired.
Mm.
You need to know what your internal triggers are that get you in that zone.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can be tired, right? Don't want to do anything. But if I listen to Victory Lap, the album by Nipsey Hussle, in case you didn't know, tap in. Go ahead, Nipsey Hussle. Everyone should know by now. I'm just locked in,
right?
Because I'm listening to those words. I feel like his ideals are definitely high for me. I'm trying to strive to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no matter what type of mood I'm in, I put on that album. I'm locked in. I'm getting stuff done. Another thing that helps me is kind of like doing some push-ups or going on a little run.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm like, oh man, I don't feel like doing nothing right now. Oh, my body, it hurts. Let me just do 5 push-ups. I'm not gonna stop at 5 because the energy that it takes to get on the ground when you're this old. You know what I'm saying? The energy that it takes to get on the ground, I'm not just gonna do 5 when I'm down there. So automatically I'm gonna get more. So it's a matter of knowing yourself and knowing what you need to do to get that engine roaring a little bit.
You just reminded me of one of the things they talk about in Atomic Habits, which is like when you're trying to start a habit, which this could be, a great thing for. This applies more than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a sideboard, but this actually really applies here.
20 minutes later.
Anyways, and it goes back to like the undercommit and over deliver. So if your goal is to go on a run every morning, then make your habit putting on your running shoes after you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Because are you really going to put on your running shoes to walk around the house? Probably not.
One person answered yes. I heard you. One person in the universe said, mm-hmm. I sure am.
In your robe with your running shoes.
Not the robe. Oh,
no. But just make it something very tangible that is very easy and you could do every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you eventually want to be able to walk 30 minutes every day, start out with 5. Right? And that is something you can for sure do, and you're most likely not going to stop at 5, right? You're going to keep going, and then you'll feel good that you've over committed or over delivered on your goal.
Right.
So I think that's a good one. But yeah, I think inspiration for me, I think it's dancing.
Dancing's yours?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I think even today I was like, okay, you didn't do a full workout. I did like a little 5-minute thing when I was waiting to go pick up groceries, but I didn't do like my full workout. So, and another thing they talked about in Atomic Habits, never miss 2 days.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't do my full workout. It means you have to do it today. But I was kind of like, I already had 1 day of not doing it. What's 2? It's Sunday, day of rest. Nope. So I put on some music and I just started dancing and I was like, all right, we got the energy. So then I did my full workout and I felt really good afterwards. So just find whatever that thing is that gets you going and find that and know how to tap into that when it's necessary.
Big facts. Sometimes I do listen to a little bit ET. That does help.
Yes, every morning for me.
Just put on a video, not the podcast. I feel like the podcast is good for like when I'm walking, I'm already in a mode. Mm-hmm. But when I'm just like, I don't got the energy, right? But I'll put on an ET video. It's like, it's like you feel it.
Like you can't sit on the couch by listening to that. It doesn't.
When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, I'm over here like, I want to succeed
and breathe.
Go ahead.
No, that's good. So the last one here is you. Right? What can you do to stay disciplined? And things that can help you stay disciplined, and that is you. Would you care to expand on that?
Oh, did I write that?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was gonna make up something, but I'm like, I don't know exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like it's for me. First off, it starts with knowing yourself, knowing yourself, knowing your goals, and feeling for me that not overcommitting. And hopefully, I'm getting better at this. I've been kind of vocalizing to you when I have an idea, but it's like, but I let that go.
You have been. Right? Good job.
Like, oh, someone invited me to this event, but I'm gonna let that go. Right. So it's like really knowing yourself and knowing the things that usually do distract you, and the mindset shift in thinking that if I do these things, I'm attacking myself. I'm sabotaging myself. Right. Like, yes, it could be fun because this person wants me to help them out, or it can be a good event for me to support this. But it's like, but does that help you and what's your goals? Does that pour into your cup? How does that support your queen? Like, and if it's not checking those boxes, then it's like, all right, step away. It's okay. If they judge you for it, they judge you for it. But at least you're good in your own values and your own morals. So I feel like you are literally, I mean, hopefully you watching this, you should be one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful resource in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's other people. You have your partners, you have your parents, you have your siblings, your friends, family. But I feel like at the end of the day, you should be one of the most powerful resources in your life to get what you need to get done.
Yeah. And I think it's, yes, utilize these other tools, utilize other people as well as tools. But at the end of the day, you also need to rely on yourself, right? You also need to be able to get it done. I think what came to mind here was going back to your why and making sure that you have a strong why for what you're even doing. Because again, if I'm just like this guy on Instagram who gets he was always taking pictures with a lot of women, does 100 push-ups, so I'm gonna do 100 push-ups. That's not a very strong why. So on those days when you're not feeling it, it's gonna be very easy to convince yourself that not to do that, right? So it's not important to you at your core. So I think that before you even decide or get that accountability partner, write down or decide what your goal is going to be or your routine is going to be. Figure out what the end goal is and make it something that's very important to you. Have a why under there, because again, on those days when it is like, man, I just don't want to do this. You remind yourself of your why, and that can be a very positive thing to help get you off your butt and and getting to take action. I think that's a very important thing. So have your why, have it up and visible somewhere, and just remind yourself of that every single day, so that it's a little bit easier. You have just that underlying foundation for why it's even a goal of yours in the first place.
Yep. So if you're watching, listening, go ahead and leave a comment. What is one thing you are going to do to either increase your self-management skills or your self-discipline skills? One action, one resource you're going to tap into. Go ahead and leave that in the comments, or you can send us a little DM. Go ahead and slide right up in there if you want to. Queen, anything before we get into our weekly updates? Promise you, this podcast in my head was supposed to be 30 minutes. I don't know where we're at right now, but I know we're over 30 minutes.
It never goes that way.
It never does. But we
talk too much.
We do. We got problems. Queen.
Yes.
How was your week? Any updates you got for the people? What's going down?
What's going down is my weight.
Hey.
So that's my update is that we are on day 13. We started on Monday. So day 13 of our healing journey, our 90-day healing journey. Still feeling very, very good. Down 2 pounds this week, down 0.5% of body fat. Energy's still up. And the sleep is not quite as good as it was that first week, but it's still better than it was before. So still working on making sure that we get to sleep on time, that I'm waking up, and I think that's where I'm trying to make sure that I find the right routine, because I did wake up a little bit easier, but I need earlier, so I need to make sure that I'm going to sleep a little bit earlier now too. But yeah, I'm still feeling pretty good, and I feel like we were talking about this the other day, but I was like, okay, yeah, this is hard, but it's not nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be, really, truthfully. And I think we both said the Daniel fast was 10 times harder.
Facts. Sorry, Whitney. Well, we'll still do it again at the top of the year for that. Was it a week? How long?
We did a week.
Yeah, we'll still do it.
No, the first time we did 21 days. But now we've said like we're gonna do it for a week every time we come back from vacations.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I'm still with that, Whitney. But yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. It's very manageable. Again, once you realize once you realize, okay, I'm not eating this because my body is sensitive to it, it makes it that much easier to not eat it, right? If you just are like, it's generally said that it's may not be the best thing for you, it's like, I'll take my chances, right? But once I know, like, oh no, I ran my blood work and it says like I am sensitive to this, so I know by eating this, I am like, it sounds extreme, but I'm like, I would be poisoning myself, right? Because if it's not doing good for you, it's doing bad for you. With food, there really is no gray area. So I think now knowing that, I feel good every day knowing that I'm putting things that are having a positive effect on my body.
It kind of goes back to self-sabotage. Yeah. Like if you know you're allergic to something, which these are kind of like mild cases of allergens, or your body reacts negatively to it, right? If you know, if I eat this, my body's gonna react negative to it, and you still eat it, you may have little screws loose, right? You may be something wrong with you. But it's like you're intentionally almost hurting yourself, right? And it goes back to that self-love. So you should be a little intentional about what you're putting in your body. So sign up for health coaching. Talk to him.
Talk to him. No. So TrueHealthForever.com. We have free 30-minute health coaching sessions available, so that you can get some recommendations and start your own healing journey. Again, specific to you based on your lifestyle. So based, off the free session, you'll get some good stuff. You'll get some good stuff. You'll get some recommendations. Where the real gems are, that's when you get the monthly sessions. So we're gonna run some, get to run some tests to get a very personalized and individualized plan just for you, so that you can start feeling as great as we feel right now.
Change your life.
Change your life.
Change your life. Listen.
So I'm excited to continue our journey. Again, we're on day 13 of 90. So imagine we feeling this good right now. We about to be Transformers by day 90. So keep tapping in.
Yes, ma'am.
What about you, King?
PlayBlackWallStreet.com. Get yourself a board game, get yourself a t-shirt, and there's always courses on there, but really, really pushing the second edition and the masterpiece edition of the board games, because as y'all know, shipping delays are happening all across the world right now, right? So getting the next wave of board games might take a little bit more time than we want. So if you want yourself a board game, if you want a masterpiece edition, if you want a second edition, go ahead and go to PlayBlackWallStreet.com. Get yourself a game for the holidays. Black history, financial literacy, built on the legacy and legend of Tulsa's Black Wall Street. Definitely tap in. And then our first physical child's book, The Black History Adventures of Rose and Rodney. Grandy said she read that and she liked it. She ordered another one. I gave her one for free, but then she ordered one. I was like, oh, thanks, Grandma. Appreciate you. Thanks, Grandy. What else do we got? And next week, the 4-week Wealth Academy will be launching as well. So if you have a young one, or if you want to tap into it, the 4-week Wealth Academy is going to be on there, talking about crafting your budget, the 7 steps to launch your business, the different business models that are out there, the different industry that you can get involved in. So go ahead and tap in. That's also going to be available on PlayBlackWallStreet.com. 4-week Wealth Academy. It's going to be good stuff. Queen, feeling good? Are you ready to go? What you looking at?
I may or may not have been counting 20 weeks from today.
20 weeks from today? And where we landing?
If you I did quick math, right? Because it's just 4 weeks for a month, 5 months. Right in front of birthdays.
Okay, not bad. It's a good birthday gift.
Yeah.
We'll either be in Vegas or Sausalito.
Yep.
Sounds good. Queen, you good?
Good.
Cool. Great. Well, as usual, we appreciate y'all. We'll let you go. Go ahead. Keep going.
That's all I got.
Well, you can wrap it up. Go ahead. You can do it.
Fantastic. Spectacular. Splendid.
Episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we shall live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
We hope y'all stay healthy. We hope y'all stay mentally wealthy. And of course, we hope y'all stay true.